Sounds fantastic, doesn't it, at St Andrews? Faye Carruthers will be with you at half-time of this one, because we've got more cup action later as Brighton take on Chelsea at 8. We'll fill in on the shootouts that are ongoing right now in the 2 fourth-round ties in a moment. But Birmingham on course to win the League One title. They're into the semi-finals of the EFL Trophy. Can they cause an FA Cup shot? Live on Talksport right now. It's Birmingham against Newcastle. Here's your commentary team. FA Cup final goal scorer Dean Ashton alongside Sam Matterface.
And as the two teams emerged onto the pitch, the lights slowly sprung back into action. The fire cannons roared into the air, and a hell of a fireworks show was launched from the roof of St Andrews. This is the way they do the FA Cup here nowadays. A tournament steeped in history, celebrated for its unpredictable nature, and tonight it brings together two storied clubs, each renowned for their unpredictability, in the fourth round at the iconic St Andrews. Change inevitable. For so long these two have been yearning for stability, a chance to relish their football again, perhaps even experience a bit of magic. Well, now might be the opportune moment. Birmingham City, the League One leaders, are 18 games unbeaten and heading for an immediate return to the Championship. Newcastle United, Carabao Cup finalists for a second year out of 3, are flying high in the Premier League. Both clubs have a feeling that something is happening. The models are different. A collection of wealthy and famous Americans have swanned into the second city, whereas it's the Saudi PIF fund that have taken over Newcastle United. But the transformation has been done by two bright English managers who have been around the game for a very long time and finally getting the credit that they deserve. Get team news in just a second, but Adam Bridge has got details of penalties over at Deepdale.
Yeah, Preston have gone through to round 5 for the first time in 10 years. They've won the shootout here by 4 penalties to 2. Ched Evans with the winning penalty. It was the 5th for Preston. The hero, though, Freddie Woodman. He saved the 2nd and 3rd spot kicks of Wickham to send Preston through to round 5, 4-2 on penalties.
And the Stoke and Cardiff game still ongoing in terms of penalties at the moment. We'll keep you updated with that. Could have been a tale of two strikers tonight. Jay Stansfield starts, but Alexander Isak is on the bench this evening for Newcastle. Birmingham 3 changes from their last league game. Newcastle 9 from Wednesday night. Peacock Farrell is the Birmingham goalkeeper. The rest in blue shirts with white shorts and blue socks attacking the goal away to our right. Clara, Davis, Cochrane the back 3. Laird, Iwata, Leonard and Anderson. Wright, Dow and Stansfield in the attack. Dow will float between the midfield and the attack. It's Nick Pope back in goal for the first time since the 7th of December for Newcastle United. Livramento, Emil Kraft, Dan Byrne and Matt Target the back 4. Miley, Guimaraes and Longstaff, Willock, Wilson and Asula up top. After 56 years with no trophy to shout about, Newcastle United want to remain in the hunt for a cup double. Dean Ashton is here. It's not unusual for Birmingham City to be involved in big matches nowadays, but it is unusual for them to be the underdogs. How are they going to handle it?
I think they'll relish it, actually. Pressure off, pressure all on Newcastle. Big opportunity for a big upset. And when you're in this sort of form and mindset, no better chance.
Here is the corner, the first of the game, and it's gone towards the back post, and then it falls, and it's smashed in by Ethan Laird within a few seconds of the game. The match has only just started, and Birmingham already in front against Newcastle. Ethan Laird has hacked it in from the corner, headed down at the far post, and he has swiped his left foot at it. It's gone straight off the underside of the crossbar and in, and Birmingham lead by a goal to 0.
It doesn't get any simpler than that. Corner drilled towards the back post. I think it was Keshi Anderson that peeled round the back. He did the right thing. He was too far out to head it towards goal. He just nodded it back towards the 6-yard line, waiting for one of his teammates to be there. Ethan Laird pounced on it, struck it really well. I think it's ricocheted, possibly off a defender or off Pope, and then pinged up and into the roof of the net. What a fantastic start from Birmingham.
39 seconds on the clock. And already Birmingham City are in front. Ethan Laird with the goal, his second of the season. It's only his third ever senior goal, but he will remember that all right. Cross on the right-hand side, headed down by Anderson and converted by Ethan Laird, the former Manchester United trainee and Newcastle United, already put on the back foot in the worst possible circumstances. What a return to life back in goal for Newcastle for Nick Pope, who has already conceded after less than a minute of the return from injury.
I think also, obviously, plenty of changes for Newcastle. Players that won't have played in match situations very often this season at all. Just that lack of organisation, allowing Anderson to be free at the back post. So often I see those situations where the player goes towards goal, never going to score, does the right thing, nods it back, hopes there's a player there, get the right strike, and it flicks up and in.
And Chris Davis celebrated, two hands in the air, then a little fist pump. Ethan Laird ran over to the corner flag, and now they've got a throw in on this near touchline, high up inside opposition territory. And there's a lot of people that haven't really found their seats yet, which is obscuring our view of the pitch down in front of us, but an opportunity for yet another. Actually, it's a set piece on this near side. There's a free kick 3 yards in from the right touchline, which will be taken on this near side by Mark Leonard. He'll look to try and swing this one in. He's got four inside the box to aim at. Laird is up from the back again. It's delivered in towards Laird, comes out on the edge of the penalty area. Iwata is waiting for it. He's given it away to Joe Willock. Willock now trying to burst clear, and he runs down the left touchline. He's got Bruno Guimaraes and Osula up with him. Osula trying to get into the penalty area. It was a really good ball by Willock, actually, who fed it into a dangerous area, but Osula just couldn't get up alongside him.
Well, I thought he played the percentage ball, which isn't a bad one sometimes when you're not quite sure which movement the striker's going to make. Osula hadn't made that decision yet, and then just as Willock's going to play that left-footed cross in, Osula goes as if he's going to go towards the near post and then peels off to the far. Wrong choice from the forward, but a really good break, and Willock showing why he can be so dangerous, that powerful running that he brings from midfield.
Well, there have been 11 FA Cup ties between Premier League and third-tier sides since the start of 2022-23. Just one of those has ended with the Premier League side being knocked out. Newcastle at Sheffield Wednesday, January 2023. They're already behind here by a goal to nil. And this is Talksport. Ball over on the far side. Thrown in towards Kraft, who's just right side of the penalty area. Then played back to Livramento. Livramento under pressure. Birmingham happy to press deep inside opposition territory. The noise in here absolutely deafening. And Newcastle, who subjected Arsenal to a febrile atmosphere in the game at St James's Park in midweek, being subjected to it themselves at St Andrews this afternoon. We've played a little over 4 minutes. This is Talksport. Ball out of play over on the far side. Collected in midfield by Mark Leonard. Back to the heart of the defence. Clara gets it all the way back to Bailey Peacock-Farrell, who's lost his place as the number one around about autumn time. Right up to the right-hand side. Laird getting high up on this right-hand side from right wing back and headed the ball down towards right. Couldn't find him. Cleared away by Dan Byrne. It's been a hectic start to the game. 1-0.
Yeah, it's been terrific. And, you know, Newcastle, like you said, showed Arsenal the intensity they can play with in front of their home fans. Birmingham are doing the same. The players are lifting themselves with the supporters because of that early goal. Looking to press high, actually. Newcastle making them play long and then picking up the second ball. And also they're utilising Ethan Laird's ability in the air. That crossfield pass now has been played 3 times, and he's won it 3 times against target.
Off to deep down, Dave Rowe.
The Bet365, it's Cardiff who've gone through on penalties against Stoke. 4-2 on spot kick. Stoke missed twice. Seko hit the post and rose through. Spot kick saved by Horvath. Ruben Colwood has scored twice in the regular game. He struck the winning penalty for Cardiff. They go through 4-2 on penalties after a 3-3 draw in regular time.
Yeah, Preston went through earlier on penalties and now heard that Cardiff who have gone through on penalties away at Stoke. And here it's 1-0 to Birmingham City against Newcastle United. And Newcastle have got the other end and won a free kick over on the far side. It's 5 yards back from the right angle of the penalty area, over on the far touchline. And An opportunity to cross the ball in from Bruno Guimaraes, who looks to try and swing the ball in right-footed. In towards the near post. Byrne up to attack it. Also Asula in there as well. It's lifted towards the edge of the 6-yard box. Peacock Farrell comes and punches and gets a decent distance on it. And then it's turned back out by Willock towards the right-hand side. Stansfield filling in, heads it away for Birmingham. They're in the midpoint of their own half. They get it to halfway. Guimaraes back to Miley, who's being harassed and chased around by Dow. It works towards the right side. Byrne still out there and kept up from the set piece. That means there's been a little bit of changing around at the back for Newcastle as they get it back to Nick Pope, and then Livramento will look to try and get it down the right-hand side. 1-0 to Birmingham City, the team from League One. Birmingham through to the semi-finals of the EFL Trophy in midweek. Newcastle riding high on a wave of emotion after getting through in the Carabao Cup semi-finals in midweek. And it's a fascinating match because of the two contrasting sides. But right from the very off, Birmingham took the game to Newcastle, and it hasn't settled.
And they've been brave. Been very brave in possession. They're not looking just to hit the front first. They haven't got Dykes, they haven't got Jukovic up there to just hit and play off. They're having to try and play through. They're being brave with that style, and they've had some joy so far.
Willock trying to do a little back flick beyond Clara, who comes across to meet him on this near side, the Austrian. He shepherds it out, and it goes out for a throw on halfway. Target looking to feed the ball back to Dan Byrne. When I watched Birmingham early in the season, they were very controlled, very composed. They were strangling opponents in League One. It will be interesting to see how they deal with Newcastle tonight. Newcastle famed for their press and their energy and their Premier League tempo. But at the moment, the pace and the tempo being set by the home team. Here is Target on the halfway line, just left of the centre circle. Former Aston Villa player gets a little bit of attention from the Birmingham fans as he plays it on to Willock. Willock edge of the area. Reverse ball wasn't great from Willock. It's cut out by Laird and then further away by Iwata towards the halfway line. Remains 1-0.
I think also there's no doubt when the team sheets arrive that as the Birmingham side, you feel like you have more of a chance. You just do. When those players like Isak and Murphy, Tonali aren't in the side, gives you a boost. It feels like you have a really great chance if you can get off to what is a brilliant start for them.
Asula running into a bit of problems. Plays it back towards Kraft, gets it back and feeds it infield. It's given to Bruno Guimaraes, but he's immediately surrounded by Iwata and by Wright. They squeeze it out to the left-hand side. Laird comes across and tackles Willock, and it goes out down by the corner flag and away for a throw. This is Talksport. Throw-in coming from this left-hand side. Matt Target wants to take it, and he wants numbers to move towards the edge of the penalty area to try and cause a bit more of a problem for Birmingham. It's been a breathless first few minutes of this game. We've nearly played 10 minutes now, and it's been a really good start from the home team. And despite their spend and their dominance, you don't really see them go gung-ho much and take the handbrake off. There are a lot of 1-0s, 2-1s, victories of that sort of scoreline. Only since Boxing Day once have they won by 2 or more goals. Ball down the left-hand side looking for Willock. Any sort of victory will do here today, just to announce themselves to everybody watching and listening at home. Byrne into Longstaff, controlled by Miley, onto Guimaraes, back to Longstaff once again, just left of the centre circle, under pressure from Leonard. He shepherds it back to Byrne, and it goes out towards the far side, and it's collected by Livramento, teases it into the corner. Asula is peeled away into the right channel. Across comes Cochrane to give him some attention. He looks to feed it back, gives it to Livramento, but he had to evade Stansfield to get down to the byline. Just about does that, keeps it in. It's in towards Asula, back to Wilson, whose first time shot is stopped by Clara, and it's cleared away.
Needed to step in there, Clara. Really good play by Asula and Livramento on that right-hand side.
Keshi Anderson trying to escape down the left-hand side. Miley filling in and just helping out. And the ball goes back towards Byrne. It's a brilliant, intoxicating end-to-end match. You can't take your eyes off it for a second.
And I bet there's Cochrane and maybe even Anderson and over on that side. All of a sudden you come up against say a Livramento who you might watch in the Premier League and see as a good player, and all of a sudden he puts the acceleration on and you go, wow, didn't realise as you step up how quick and athletic and skillful these Premier League players are. Just cut through there on the right hand side and cut it back, and Clara needed to be there because Wilson was ready to swivel with that attempt.
Yep, Newcastle have won 11 of their last 13 games, and despite the changes they've made tonight, they should have enough quality to cause pain for Birmingham and avoid an upset. But at the moment, the upset is on the cards. It's Birmingham who lead by a goal to nil, led scoring after 39 seconds. They immediately sent the ball forward, went out for a corner. It was delivered to the far post. Anderson got up, headed it down, and Led smashed it, just swiped at it, left-footed. That's his wrong foot, by the way, off the underside of the crossbar and into the net. And it's 1-0 to the League One side.
I think because of the personnel that Chris Davis has gone with Wright and Stansfield and Dowell, they're really looking, as soon as that ball goes to Pope, they're looking to pin the two centre-backs, Kraft and Byrne, make it difficult for them to receive, and then looking to win the ball high up if they can, stop Newcastle at source. Done very well so far. Stansfield in particular has worked incredibly hard across that line to close down a few times.
Let's go off to Twickenham. Alfie Reynolds.
England 7, France 10. 11 minutes into the second half. France retaking the lead through a Ramos penalty, the only point so far in this second half. England 7, France 10.
Talksport, Saturday afternoon on what has already been a huge Saturday of FA Cup action. Wright trying to turn away from Byrne. Byrne gets back at him, tugs him back, pulls him down, free kick. And the referee comes out, distributes the yellow card. Matthew Donoghue, who often is in the Premier League as a VAR or a fourth official, taking charge of this one. Yellow card straight out for Dan Byrne.
Class, that's what that was from Scott Wright. Ball in, as if he's going to receive it, just let it run across his body, away from Dan Byrne. Really clever play. Gets Dan Byrne booked. Lovely to see. From a forward perspective,
I was going to say, yeah.
Of course.
A little bit of forwards union going on there. Millwall have already beaten Leeds today. Manchester City survived the scare at lunchtime on Talksport. Everton knocked out by Bournemouth. Ipswich won well at Frank Lampard's commentary earlier. Here it's a chance on the edge of the penalty area for Keshi Anderson, who shoots, and Pope has to spring to his right, push it to his right hand side. It's put behind by Clara and out for a goal kick away to our right. And the free kick was quickly worked. It came to Anderson on the edge of the 18-yard box. He swiped at it left-footed. It went well towards the far corner. I think it was in reach of Nick Pope, and he did produce a rather athletic dive, pushed it away to safety.
Well, it's so similar to the goal. That ball pinged out cross-field. Good header back. Keshi Anderson on the edge of the box, side volley with his left foot. I think it takes a little deflection as well, which makes the save even better from Pope. Full stretch to his right-hand side to palm away.
15 minutes gone. It's Birmingham 1, Newcastle United 0. And we're live on Talksport. The other big scorelines today, Burnley beating Southampton. Adrian wasn't very complimentary about Southampton, and we were listening to him earlier on. Fulham beat Wigan Athletic away from home. And later on tonight, Brighton against Chelsea is live on Talksport. Looking forward to that as well. Here is Wright after a mishap from Willock. He's picked the ball up centre field and runs to the edge of the area. He's overran that and collided with Emil Kraft. And then Keshi Anderson over on the far side, just out sprinting everyone to win it back. A good recovery run by him. And he picks it up in the left wing-back position.
Well, as good as the turn was a second ago from Wright, that was Paul. Got himself into a really nice position. Backpedaling the defenders. Just needs to shift and shoot. As he goes to shift it, heavy touch. Ball gets away and the chance has gone.
Not afraid to play the balls long into the channels, Birmingham City. Bailey Peacock Farrell, the Northern Ireland goalkeeper, has just sent another one down the left-hand side. It immediately puts Newcastle on the back foot and inside their own penalty area. Even if you don't win the first ball, the pressure that you can create from that, if you then squeeze up, has just created a little bit of uncertainty, and they eventually get it away, but Byrne was under pressure beforehand.
And that's the key. If your teammates back you up there, then it can work. It's if suddenly one doesn't, or the concentration's not there, or as the game goes on you start to get fatigued, that's when it's a worry. if Newcastle can then pick them off.
Ball far side, taken by Asula for Newcastle United, who trail here and have to try and come from behind. Newcastle reached the quarterfinals last season of this competition, but that was a little bit of an anomaly, really. They earned their spot in the fourth round with a 3-1 victory over League Two side Bromley, but they did have to come from behind in that one as well, Dean.
Yeah, they've made hard work of this competition, but again, you know, that the Carabao Cup success has to give you that belief that you can go deep in the FA Cup.
Free kick given against Iwata and handed to Bruno Guimaraes for Newcastle United. Played square to the Livramento, now taken on by Asula, direct and strong. He runs into the centre, but there's a loose pass infield to Miley. He'll win it back here, and Newcastle will have it just in front of the halfway line, but they can't settle. Birmingham won't leave them alone. There's no space for them to operate in. They don't get any time on the ball. They're immediately pursued and roughed up within seconds of receiving it. It's a good Birmingham performance so far. They're well coached and well organised, and actually that's something that Eddie Howe mentioned in the build-up to the game. Actually, he said the level doesn't really come into it. He knows what to expect from a good coach like Chris Davis. Ball loose on the edge of the 18-yard box. It's headed forward by Guimaraes. It then bounces forward, and Byrne from inside the centre circle will guide it all the way back to his goalkeeper, and then they'll look to build from the back once again.
Well, he's having to be patient, Callum Wilson. With a long time out, he'll be delighted to be starting the game, but at the moment he's struggling to get into the game. That back three looks incredibly well drilled, squeezing up, making you work hard as a forward to get back on side constantly and check your positioning.
What I love about the way that they're set up is that they are a back three essentially, but they're often a back four when the ball's on the other side of the pitch, and Laird will come in and Cochrane will shift across, and the same with Keshi Anderson on the other side of the pitch. They're so fluid and so well versed tactically. Ball comes up towards Willock. He tries to hold it up. It's brushed aside by Stansfield. It pops out for a Newcastle throw just before halfway. Birmingham determined to continue their unbeaten run. They haven't tasted defeat since Shrewsbury turned them over in November, and even that day Birmingham had 80% of the ball, only had 5 shots on target. They were pretty ruthless. They prized possession and believed results would come from building up patiently, but it was a fast start, an in-your-face start from Birmingham that got them in front in this particular fixture.
I mean, look, as Newcastle, with the experience they have in their side, even though there's changes, they've got to recognise that Birmingham are going to have this intensity. They're like a new puppy almost, in that you've got to allow them to tire themselves out. They're going to jump at you, they're going to bite you, but you've got to wait until that just dips a fraction. That's when, as a side, you then have to up it to really test them.
Of course, it depends on your pain threshold, but when you do have a new puppy and they do give you a nip, sometimes that really hurts.
Yeah, it does. Those gnashes are sharp.
Over on the far side, the ball picked up by Stansfield. He bounds into opposition territory, leaves it for Anderson. Anderson flicks it up against Longstaff, and then Newcastle win it once again halfway inside their own half. There's lots of mist doing the round here. You can see as the players breathe the vapour from their mouths emerging. It's a cold night in the second city. Here's Wilson trying to turn past his marker, and he's done that well. He's then bundled past Clara. He's got support on the left-hand side from Target. He gets the ball into the box instead. It bobbles through to Asula, far post. Willock is there. He's cleared off the line. Brilliant save by Peacock Farrell to spoon it away, and then it's over the top on the rebound by Willock. What a chance, and what a stop. Or is it? No, it's a goal. It's gone over the line. The referee must have got an indication from the goal decision system, and it took about 4 or 5 seconds, Dean Ashton, but eventually he then stopped as they were getting ready to take, I think, a corner on the far side, and pointed to the centre spot. It's 1-1.
Well, even some of the Newcastle fans, they're not particularly celebrating. They're not sure. It's definitely a goal. It's really well played. I mean, Callum Wilson gets so lucky. He gets about 25 deflections off his shin and off the defender's shin to just keep ploughing through 2, 3 defenders, but then he puts in a delicious ball. As a forward, he knows where it needs to go, right in behind the defence with his left foot, looking for Willock, looking for Osula. Osula just puts it back into the penalty area. It's a lovely side foot finish from Willock. And Peacock Farrell, I think, trying to get back into position, must have just gone behind his line as he saved it, which was a brilliant save back where he came from. But then Willock can celebrate when the referee allows him.
So the ball was played down the left for Wilson, who did really well. Sent it to the far post. Osula back in. I mean, it looks, you can't tell from the naked eye that it's definitely over the line. So they obviously had to use the goal decision system here. I'm guessing. Well, I mean, even so, I can't see whether that's crossed the line or not. It's the linesman on the far side that gives it. The linesman immediately puts his flag up over on the far side, and he gives the goal, Dean.
I mean, it happened so fast. How could you tell with the naked eye? I mean, that has been side foot power volleyed towards Peacock Farrell from 4 yards out. The speed in which that hits the goalkeeper's arm, how are you meant to tell?
Well, I mean, from the still replay, it's not in line with the goal line, so as a result, it's very difficult to see. We can see a better angle of it here. Peacock Farrell is behind the line, so is his arm. Oh yeah, it does go. It does. I mean, it's literally maybe even not even half an inch over the line. But it is. I think it is over the line.
Yeah, I mean, Peacock Farrell, as he comes back in towards his goal, he grabs the post and it almost takes him back into his own goal. And then when the strike comes in, he's behind his line. Oh, well done for Birmingham.
And they're coming forward again. It's picked up by Stansfield, looking to find Keshi Anderson. Well done to that eagle-eyed linesman, by the way, over on the far side. Leicester could have done with him last night. Here is Cochrane trying to get it in towards the near post.
Again, though, it's that ball over the top into the channels for Birmingham. Newcastle then tried to play out and they pounce on it and win it back, and Stansfield, if he'd have taken a better touch, could have got a strike away.
And the referee took his time over it before awarding the goal. Eventually did. Here is Stansfield shooting from the edge of the area after spinning and turning right on the edge of the box. And then it's cleared away by Nick Pope and out towards this near side.
I really like that, though, from Jay Stansfield. Ball played in. His first thought as a forward is, can I take a great touch to have a shot straight away? Takes it on the back foot with his left, just opens it up onto his right foot, is able to strike straight away. Lovely strike, straight at Pope. But when the games are tight and you're up there and you're working hard and those moments come, you've got to be ready, and he was there.
Newcastle were behind. Now they're level. 22 minutes on the clock. They got their equaliser from Joe Willock. And it's one apiece at St Andrews. And now Osula has taken it in beautifully, and he's sold Cochrane and moved towards the edge of the area. His right footed shot parried away by Peacock Farrell. Back out to Osula again. Needs a little bit of help here. Shifts it to Longstaff. Longstaff down the corner towards the right. Livramento across the face of goal. Tucked in, and it's cleared off the line again. Then Wilson is there. It's scrambled in, and it's a goal. Callum Wilson on the score sheet celebrates in front of the Birmingham City fans. There's no doubting this one. It took them a couple of times to get it in because there was chaos inside the 6-yard box. But Callum Wilson, in the end, was on hand to pop it in. He then ran across and celebrated in front of the Birmingham fans. They didn't like that. They've started to chuck bits and pieces at him. Some bottles and some plastic cups, I think. But he's celebrating a Newcastle goal, and they've turned it around very quickly, Newcastle United. And from 1-0 down, they're 2-1 up.
Well, it all starts with a Premier League quality touch from Osula. Ball's fired into him. His first touch is magical, just to take it away from Cochrane, and then he's away, driving at the Birmingham City defence, and he just opens things up. His strike is well saved by Peacock Farrell. Then when it's recycled back out, Livramento on his bike, powering down the right-hand side. He's too quick for Keshi Anderson. The ball's played down the side. He whips it across. And then as Willock takes a touch, and I think Osula's in there as well, all trying to sort their feet out, I just watched Callum Wilson like a predator, just waiting for the prey, and the ball, being that prey, dropped and he pounced, and he just studded it in from a couple of yards out. That is what a top goal scorer does.
First goal of the season for Callum Wilson, his first return since Brentford in December, and that was only a brief return after another injury, but he's back today and back amongst the goals. And you know, in Newcastle United having so much football to play this season, if they keep going on in this cup competition as well, then he will be an incredible, useful addition to this squad, having not been around for most of the campaign so far.
Well, we know what a fantastic goal scorer he can be, and at times has kept Isak out. And when we look at how good Isak is at the moment, I think it shows how good Callum Wilson is when he's fit and firing. Great option. Just got to stay fit, hasn't he? Callum Wilson
just got to stay fit, and that's the problem.
That's coming from me as well.
Yeah, but it's something your body can't help. It's not that he's trying to get injured.
No.
He's desperately trying to be fit all the time, and he would love to be able to be available for Eddie Howe more often. But it must be so frustrating the number of times he picks up little niggles, because there's not many better natural finishers than Callum Wilson.
Finishers and predators, you know, having that knack of just being in the right positions, of sensing where the ball's going to land. So much of it is anticipation, is almost a gamble to expect where it's going to fall, and he's one of the best at it.
His last goal was against Burnley on the 4th of May, towards the end of last season, and he is a goal scorer again today, thanks to that predatory finish in front of the goal away to our left-hand side. And it's Birmingham 1, Newcastle 2 in the FA Cup. Game day live on Talksport with Carling, the official beer partner of the Emirates FA Cup. 18 plus, please drink responsibly. And we welcome our friends at Sirius XMFC in the United States of America and Canada. Delighted to have you on board with us. We're in Birmingham, the second city of England, in the mist and the fog and the cold, and with the heat of a real battle between the leaders of League One, Birmingham City, and the team that have already reached one cup final and have come back already from a goal down to lead by 2-1 here. Let's go off to Twickenham. Alfie Reynolds.
Speaking of battles, England 12, France 18. We've had a try for both sides. England's Tommy Freeman collecting Finn Smith's crossfield, but shortly after that, up the other end, Damien Penaud responding for the French. Both conversions were missed. It's a 6-point game. England 12, France 18.
Thank you very much, Alfie. At Twickenham this afternoon for us, keeping an eye on proceedings. We are here at Birmingham watching Newcastle United and their much-changed team try and get over the line against this vibrant Birmingham City unit who started the game so well. And I think it shocked Newcastle United, and as a result of that, they've really had to up their game the longer it's gone on.
And what they've done is they've recognised where they can be very, very useful, which is out wide, especially if you can isolate Laird and Anderson and overload, as they have done with Livramento and Target at times, and that's especially on that right hand side with Livramento and Osula. They've had the joy.
Yep, the goals coming from, well, first Joe Willock after an intervention from the linesman, and then from Callum Wilson, former Coventry player who celebrated in front of the Tilton end away to our left hand side, which went down like a sack of spuds. And he got a sack of spuds thrown at him, I think, during that melee. They've cleaned that up now. And we're back underway, and Newcastle have the ball. And we've hit the half-hour mark here on Talksport. And Newcastle now in control of the game. And I think we'll try and take the sting out of it a little bit now, Dean, after what was a ferocious first 30 minutes.
Well, and also with those goals, they're so valuable because of just how it affects the opposition mentally. Great turn,
Osula is really strong, isn't he, in possession of the ball, and he's turned brilliantly, and he's drawn 3 defenders. He's eventually gone down. I think the 4th one gave him a kick. I mean, but the body strength to hold on the ball, to take it in, to just shield it from those in blue shirts. He was trying desperately to get away, couldn't, so he just kept hold of the ball, ended up in a bit of a scrap, and then as a result got kicked, got a free kick just in front of the halfway line, and it remains 2-1 to Newcastle.
Been really impressed with his first touch, actually. He sees this as a great opportunity. You can tell
Ball flicked on by Byrne. Willock is there. Goalkeeper is out. It's bundled in. The offside flag is up. Remember, there's no VAR here. It was very, very tight. And it went beyond Bailey Peacock-Farrell and into the net. The free kick floated in towards the edge of the penalty area. Byrne got up high, flicked it on. Willock was there. Out came the goalkeeper, who was well beaten, but the flag went up over on the far side. And to be honest, after what we saw earlier, we should probably trust that linesman.
I think he just strayed. It felt like he was ahead just as Byrne flicks it on, and he wasn't. I mean, lovely finish up and over the goalkeeper.
Here is Mark Leonard nudging it forward. And collecting it is Kieran Dow. Dow plays it out wide. Anderson wriggles away from Livramento. Goes down the left touchline. The fog getting denser now as the cross comes in towards the near post. It's headed away by Stansfield. Past the right-hand upright. What an opportunity that was for Jay Stansfield. In between Kraft and Byrne. The cross came in from Anderson. It was a beauty of a delivery. All he had to do was prod it behind Pope, and he missed the target.
Oh, the cross. The cross is absolutely beautiful. As a striker, you can't ask for more. Keshi Anderson, little step over onto his left foot. The ball in is just so good. It's right on the money for Stansfield. And he's just got to nod this in and it hits his shoulder. That's the issue. It's there just to be powered in with the meat of the forehead. And he just misses it, hits his shoulder and goes an inch wide. It's a massive, massive chance and he has to score.
Byrne away. That's another big chance for the home team, who started the scoring here today. And Stansfield, you would suggest, will be kicking himself because he's got 14 goals in 22 games this season. He's a terrific finisher usually, and that was a miss. Here on the right side of Sula, left-footed cross. It's a deep one, it's too deep. It goes right the way through the penalty area and out the other side, and it goes for a goal kick away to our left.
Yeah, that'll eat at him. It's a great opportunity, and it's one thing getting your head on it and then missing. Another thing just to have missed it and it hits your shoulder and goes wide. What a dreamy cross that was. We just don't see that enough, do we? Just a bit of wing play and then the delivery in. It just took out both of the two centre-backs because of Stansfield's positioning.
That's the kind of thing that would make you send Keshi Anderson a Valentine's card if you were still a forward.
I might.
Here is Lewis Miley down the left-hand side, poking it into the path of Wilson. Cut out by Ben Davies, the captain. Sends it out towards the near side. Clara's the captain, isn't he? Yeah, he is. Got distracted by the tightness of the white trim around the bicep, the upper bicep of Ben Davies. Obviously been doing a bit of Dean Ashton's and working out. Ball back towards the 18-yard box. It's picked up by Pope across the back edge of the penalty area. Byrne forward now into Target, who's in the left fullback position. He sends it long, taken down by Clara. Clara wins it for Birmingham. They move forward at a little bit of pace. Laird cut out by the defender Target, and then up it goes to Wilson. Wilson trying to career down the left-hand side. It's Willock now who takes over and moves in towards the centre of the Birmingham half. Spees Osula, who twists and turns, tries to get it out of his feet, can't do so. Good defending by Anderson, who's come back in there. He puts it behind, does it? Goes out for a goal kick off Osula, and they just about get away with it. I mean, Willock there, brilliant run down the left-hand side, moving in towards the midpoint of the Birmingham half. He fed Osula. Osula, I mean, he was determined, but so was that Birmingham defence.
You're right, the run from Willock is outstanding. He has no right. He's crowded out by four players, but just the body swerve, the pace, the trickery with his feet on the dribble was just magnificent to then feed Osula. Osula does the right thing. You've just got to say, Clara is outstanding defending, because Osula's cut inside Cochrane and he's looking to strike, and there was the defender just sliding in. Really good defending.
Brilliant slide block from Christopher Clara. Let's go off to Twickenham, because there's been a try Talksport's Alfie Reynolds.
Into the final 10 minutes. England 19, France 18. England lead for the first time in the match. Finn Baxter burrowing over from close range and Finn Smith stepping up to knock over the conversion. England 19, France 18, 8 minutes to go.
That would be some upset if England could see that through at Twickenham tonight. Remember, we've got live boxing for you this evening. Derek Chisora in action. Might be the last time we see him in action. That's tonight on Talksport. Stick with us. It's after the game between Brighton and Chelsea, which follows this fixture. Here is Wilson, played through the centre. Goalkeeper comes out, gets there just ahead of him, but gives it to Asula. Asula went to strike it from distance, and as he caught it in the end, he took probably a little bit too much time, by which time Peacock Farrell was back in his 6-yard box and ready to catch it rather easily.
Yeah, he was back. He dried his gloves on his towel and then got back into position by the time Asula had decided to try and chip him.
And then when he tried to chip him, he hit it straight in his midriff. What you're saying is maybe he just took a little bit too much time there.
Just a bit. But he has been very good. He's been really lively.
Yeah.
Asula on that right-hand side.
Interesting signing, actually. They picked him up from Sheffield United. And they obviously saw something in him. He's still a young lad. He's only 21 years of age, Danish, under-21 international. Cost 10 million quid in the summer. They didn't do too much business. They haven't done too much business, Newcastle United, but they did bring him in. And they are a little lighter on numbers now than they were even going into January, with the absence of Botman tonight, who's injured again. Hopefully that's not a serious one, but allowing Miggy Almiron to move on and Lloyd Kelly to go off to Juventus, and they haven't brought anybody in.
But what they have got is players back fit, which I think that was crucial. You know, and then when he's got a nice rounded squad, as he has now, it means he has got genuine quality to choose from.
And that's one of the things he was sort of suggesting to me on Wednesday night, was that the squad is lighter in terms of numbers, but it is full of quality now. Ball collected by Scott Wright. Tries to turn it infield. Comes back out towards the edge of the penalty area. Iwata then sends it wide. Keshi Anderson tries to take on Livramento, plays a reverse ball. Iwata's got round the back, pulls it in, right with a finish, but he didn't catch it. He sent it straight at Pope. Well, Wright really should have popped that straight past Nick Pope. It was a beautiful Birmingham move, intricate football, opened up the Newcastle defence. It was rolled back to just inside the area for Scott Wright. He opened up his body, but his contact just didn't have enough venom.
Well, you can't say they haven't had the chances. It's another wonderful opportunity. Keshi Anderson does brilliantly on the left-hand side, just to fake to cross and then reverse it into Iwata, who picks out Wright. And it's just a really soft side foot. It's so easy for Pope in the end.
Anderson again terrorising Newcastle down that left-hand side. Shepherded out towards the far side. A cross by Dow towards the far post. Laird was looking for it. Comes back to Iwata! Oh! Pick that one out! Running onto it on the edge of the 18-yard box. A first-time volley into the top corner. That's an absolute seismic missile from the boot of the Japanese. It went in at the near post corner beyond Nick Pope, Birmingham level, and that is a belter. That is special.
That's a stunner. What a wonderful strike this is from Iwata. The ball played deep towards Ethan Laird, who was trying to make that run in behind Target. It was headed out by Matt Target just outside the area. Iwata reacted quick enough, but just waited for the ball to bounce perfectly and rip his laces right through the back of the ball. He can't strike it any better. It is past Pope before he's even taken a step to his left and got his glove up in the air. Magnificent strike.
I mean, it's absolutely outstanding. 5 minutes before half-time, Newcastle pegged back again. The technique on that, I mean, it's absolutely unbelievable. I wrote on my iPad earlier on today, when I was doing my research, it was yesterday actually, I was doing my research into this game, can hit a worldie. Well, that is a worldie. You won't get very many better goals this weekend I know that Jamie Donnelly will get the headlines for his crackerjack goal from the halfway line earlier on today. But in terms of technique, in terms of power, that is right up there.
That is one of those strikes where once you've hit it, it's like you can't feel it. It just comes right out of the middle of your foot and just goes like a rocket towards the goal. It gets faster the further it goes, that type of strike. It wasn't a half volley as it just bounces in front. It bounced up and was probably half a yard off the floor, and he just flushes right through the back of it. Just what Birmingham City needed.
Wow, what a first half of football we've brought you here on Talksport. 2-2, Newcastle against Birmingham City, live on Talksport in the FA Cup fourth round. The goal scoring started after 38 seconds. That was a sign of things to come. Newcastle levelled through. Joe Willock, but the ball went just narrowly over the line. Then Callum Wilson scored a goal, scrappy goal, but a Predators finish. And then probably the second best goal you'll see today from Tomoki Iwata, who smashes the ball into the top corner, the near top corner, as he was running diagonally from the centre of the Newcastle half out towards the right corner of the box, and just as he reached the 18-yard line, maybe just outside, he has cracked it first time on the volley across his body into the top corner near side. Nick Pope couldn't come anywhere near it. He just looked over his shoulder and went, blimey, where did that come from? 2-2. And what a match. Osula for Newcastle, now attacking down the right. Moving into an advanced position, his cross is blocked by Cochrane, it's out for a throw.
Oh, a magnificent advert for the FA Cup. And I think when you put these two sides together with Birmingham's form, Newcastle's confidence after midweek, it was always going to be made for a terrific tie. It hasn't disappointed. What you don't want, though, from Birmingham is just to think that you've done the job and that you're happy with what you've got so far. Got to try and keep going.
There's a corner here. It's 2-2. There's a massive try at Twickenham. Talksport's Alfie Reynolds.
Massive try for England. France had retaken the lead, but with 30 seconds to go, Elliot Daly has just crossed to the right-hand side of the uprights. It's England 24, France 25, and Finn Smith is lining up a kick which may well give England victory here against France. It would be a huge result for this team, for Steve Borthwick's England regime. What a moment. Finn Smith is waiting, taking his time for the clock to tick down into the red. England 24, France 25.
We'll tell you whether or not he makes it in just a second, but we've got a corner here at St Andrews. Bit of pushing and shoving inside the box. Cochrane involved in that with Dan Byrne. There's a bit of a mismatch in terms of size. The corner comes in towards the back edge of the 6-yard box. Clara takes charge. Christoph Clara gets it clear. Laird jumps, doesn't reach the ball. Livramento sends it back over the top. Wilson goes to chase, headed away by Ben Davies. It breaks to the far side, the left. Stansfield then escapes on the far touchline for Birmingham, and he runs down that left touchline. He's still going. He's got beyond the defence, and now he's running into the penalty area. Across comes Longstaff, just about pinches it, and then he goes out towards the far side, and Stansfield engages again. But Newcastle have got it clear. 3 minutes of added time at the end of the first half. 2-2. Ball sent over the top, and Osula went to try and chase it, couldn't reach it, goes out of play, and it's away and out for a throwing down in the left fullback position. Full time at Twickenham, and England have won. Alfie Reynolds.
Unbelievable at Twickenham. England 26, France 25. The late Elliot Daly try with the conversion from Finn Smith sees England win against the heavily favoured France. Their Six Nations campaign is up and running. What a win for Steve Borthwick's side. Full-time score, England 26, France 25.
And what a story that is. On a weekend of huge stories in the FA Cup and beyond. And all the big stories discussed with Sean Custis and Henry Winter on Sunday edition tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock. Really good way to sort of get your football fix and a roundup of all the big action. There's certainly a little bit of a issue flaring up over on the far side, and Asula has got into a tangle. He wasn't happy about it, got up, there was a push and a shove, and 4 or 5 players got involved, and there was a bit of a head-to-head between Stansfield and Asula. Anderson had to go in, Ben Davies got involved, Bruno Guimaraes dragged Asula away. The referee in the end just waited for them all to come apart before he thought about even taking action.
Yeah, well hard, lads, well done. It's just pathetic, isn't it? Why as players do we do this sort of thing? There's absolutely nothing involved in this other than a decent tackle on the far side, grabbing a bit of shirt, they both get up, face to face, someone says something, everyone has to get involved, the referee then has to sort it out.
Yeah, it's going to be Anderson and Asula that end up with yellow cards at the end of it all, which I think both of them can probably accept were quite unnecessary. Anyway, well, that is how it is. And we have a free kick with just mere seconds to go at the end of the first half. Newcastle United came from behind. They were leading. It's now 2-2. And it's been a terrific match. It really has been a terrific match. Free kick taken by Guimaraes, sent down the right, looking for Wilson. He's not going to catch that. Goes straight out of play. Slides out of play. Goes out for a goal kick away to our left. And it is going to be a goal kick. There's a rogue blue balloon that's just come out of the Tilton end away to our left, and Bailey Peacock-Farrell does the rather sort of killjoy thing and pops it. But that is the end of the first half. There's no popping the balloon of that first 45 minutes because it has been a spectacular celebration of FA Cup football. There might well be a whole division between them in the pyramid, but there's absolutely nothing to separate them at the break. Birmingham and Newcastle 2 apiece. Laird and Iwata, which is an absolutely stunning goal, by the way, for Birmingham. And Newcastle United through Willock and Wilson mean that at half-time it is Birmingham 2, Newcastle United 2.
First 45 minutes of football. Faye Carruthers with you here live from the Amex ahead of our 8 p.m. FA Cup 4th round match on Talksport as Brighton host Chelsea. And if it's anything like the other games we've brought you this afternoon, then we're in for an absolute treat. Thanks very much to Adrian Durham for his brilliant coverage throughout the day. 2-2 between Birmingham and Newcastle at St Andrews at half-time. But I tell you what, Dean Ashton, the League One leaders, Birmingham, so in this tie. What a goal that was. in the press box here at the Amex, everybody in the press room eating their pies ahead of this game kicking off at 8 o'clock gasped and applauded. It was such a cracking goal.
That was mega, Faye, that half, honestly. It was just terrific, and topped off with that goal from Iwata. You're right, stunning strike. The game had kind of gone into a little bit of a lull with Birmingham probing, and then that just exploded St Andrews once again at the end of what had been a terrific half, where basically both teams had just slugged it out with real energy and quality. I mean, if you look at the stats, how often do we see this, where Birmingham have had 6 shots with 5 on target and Newcastle have had 7 with 5 on target? The quality's been there with the intensity of this tie as well.
Yeah, amazing from Ethan Laird. That volley in the first minute of the game from a corner. It took a bit of a deflection to befuddle Nick Pope a little bit, but Birmingham straight out of the blocks, but Newcastle didn't panic.
No, they didn't. It was a great start from Birmingham City. Not only the goal, I thought the way they pressed early on and made it really difficult for Newcastle was excellent. And then just as they kind of took a step back, Newcastle were onto them and showed their quality with their goals and a couple of other opportunities. But it didn't let them affect them too much, Birmingham, because then they had a nice period towards the end of the half to get themselves back in it, and they've defended well. They've been really brave in the way that they've played. They haven't just whacked it. They haven't got a big man up the top, so they've tried to play through. They've tried to play wide, and they've really shown a very, very good account of themselves so far.
Yep, they certainly have. It's been a real joy to watch that first 45 minutes. Go get yourself warm. If it's anything like it is at St Andrews here at the Amex. It's a little bit chilly, so go get yourselves warm. We'll speak to you very, very shortly. So half-time at St Andrews. League One leaders Birmingham 2, Newcastle United 2. We'll remind you of all the FA Cup results from today if you've missed them, next here on Talksport.
The Emirates FA Cup, live on Talksport with Carly.
What a drive, I want to go! Oh, yes!
Brilliantly refreshing from the first sip to the last. 18 plus, always drink responsibly.
Interactive Investor has an ISA to suit you, whether you prefer to manage it yourself or have our experts do it for you. And with awards like the Times Money Mentor's Best Stocks and Shares ISA and a rating of excellent on Trustpilot, we really don't need a fancy orchestral jingle to convince you. Because the choice is obvious. Search Interactive Investor. Investment values can go down as well as up. You could get back less than you invest.
At BetMGM, we know how to put on a show. So we don't just do offers, we do golden offers like this.
MGM Millions, our supersized jackpot where right now you could win over £22 million.
Get ready for the golden era in online casino. BetMGM, it's showtime.
Minimum 10p game stake. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus. Please gamble responsibly.
Julie could part exchange her car. Or check out We Buy Any Car. She could be unsure if she got a good deal part exchanging. Or have cash in the bank with more bargaining power to get a bigger car for her five-a-side team. Totally played. Or total player. To get a quote in 30 seconds, enter your reg number now at WeBuyAnyCar.com.
Right now, B&Q Club and TradePoint members get 15% off when you spend £75 or more on everything in-store and thousands of products online. Not a member? Join today and save today. Sign up in-store or online. Hurry, ends Tuesday. You can do it when you B&Q it. For full terms and conditions, see DIY.com or tradepoint.co.uk.
At Lidl, be a champion of the checkout by switching from Asda to Lidl and saving a superb 24% on this week's big shop at lidl.co.uk/usave. Save like a hero on your weekly staples, your fresh 5 a day and big brands. Lidl, Retail Industry Awards Supermarket of the Year. Prices check 3rd of the 2nd 25. Asda also sell other products. See online for more details.
Charlie had just hired Joe. He was great. Seemed like he knew his stuff. So Charlie left him alone for 5 minutes. In those 5 minutes, Joe managed to burst the main pipe and flood the entire ground floor. Workmates. They're a bit like switching your bank account for your business. You don't want any surprises. That's why we guarantee there won't be any when you switch with the current account switch service. Maybe it's time to switch.
Yes! I just can't believe it.
This time tomorrow, you could be a millionaire. Get your lotto ticket for tonight's draw. The National Lottery. Rules and procedures apply. Players must be 18 or over.
Fight Night on Talksport with USN, your partner in performance. Knockout names, insider news and nailed-on adrenaline from UK radio's hardest-hitting, closest to the canvas boxing showcase. Plus a weekly undercard of big fight build-ups, backstage bust-ups and heavyweight debate. Fight Night, tonight from 10 on Talksport with USN. Prepare, perform and recover faster in 2025 with USN Sports Supplements. Visit usn.co.uk. Game day.
The epicentre of world-class football coverage.
Can you believe it?
FA Cup Game Day live on Talksport.
You're listening to FA Cup Game Day on Talksport. Faker Others with you live from the Amex ahead of our 8 o'clock commentary, our 5th FA Cup commentary on the network today, between Brighton and Hove Albion and Chelsea. But it's half-time at St Andrews, so let's remind ourselves of what happened in a lively first 45 minutes at St Andrews in partnership with Carling.
Emirates FA Cup half-time highlights on Talksport with Carling. Brilliantly refreshing from the first sip to the last. 18 plus, always drink responsibly.
After 56 years with no trophy to shout about, Newcastle United want to remain in the hunt for a cup double. On towards the back post and then it falls in, smashed in by Ethan Laird within a few seconds of the game. The match has only just started and Birmingham already in front against Newcastle. Willock is there, he's cleared off the line. Brilliant save by Peacock Farrell to spoon it away, and then it's over the top on the rebound by Willock. What a chance and what a stop. Or is it? No, it's a goal. It's gone over the line. The referee must have got an indication from the goal decision system. Livramento across the face of goal, tucked in, and it's cleared off the line again. Then Wilson is there. It's scrambled in, and it's a goal. Towards the far post, Laird was looking for it. Comes back to Iwata. Oh! Pick that one out. Running onto it on the edge of the 18-yard box, a first-time volley into the top corner. At half-time, it is Birmingham 2, Newcastle United 2.
That was all thanks to Carling. 18 plus, please drink responsibly.
Emirates FA Cup half-time highlights on Talksport with Carling, the official beer partner of the Emirates FA Cup. 18 plus, always drink responsibly.
So in case you've missed any of the action today, it's been a busy old day on the Talksport network in the FA Cup fourth round. Here are some of the results for you. Leyton Orient 1, Manchester City 2, which was live on Talksport earlier on this lunchtime. An almighty scare for City, but goals from Kusanov and De Bruyne put them into the fifth round. Leeds United 0, Millwall 2 was over on Talksport 2. Femi Aziz with both of Millwall's goals, leaving Leeds to be able to concentrate on trying to get promotion back to the Premier League. Coventry 1, Ipswich 4, straightforward in the end for the Premier League side. Preston 0, Wickham 1. Preston won that one in the end, 4-2 on penalties. Stoke 3, Cardiff 3. What a game at the Bet365, but Cardiff ended up going on and winning it 4-2 on penalties. Ruben Colwill with the decisive kick in the end. Oh, things go from bad to worse for Southampton. Southampton 0, Burnley 1. Marcus Edwards on debut off the bench, signed on loan from Sporting Lisbon on deadline day and scored for Burnley. It's their 10th consecutive clean sheet as well. Everton 0, Bournemouth 2. That was live on Talksport 2 earlier on. Antoine Semenyo and Daniel Jebison with the goals there. Wigan 1, Fulham 2, Rodrigo Muniz with both goals for Fulham. A reminder that the fifth round draw takes place on Monday at 7:10. So Manchester United, Manchester City, Millwall, Ipswich, Preston, Cardiff, Burnley, Bournemouth and Fulham into the draw so far. Can League One leaders Birmingham book their place in the fifth round as well? At half-time, it's 2-2 between them and Newcastle United. Joe Willock and Callum Wilson had turned things around for Newcastle after Ethan Laird had opened the scoring, but it was an absolute stunning goal from Iwata that has got Birmingham back into this game. A fascinating first 45 minutes. Looking forward very much to the second half. Plus a reminder as well, I mean, as if the football's not been thrilling enough, the rugby at Twickenham was absolutely sensational. In the Six Nations, England won it very late on, 26-25, thanks to an 80th minute Elliot Daly try. They love to put us through our paces and our stresses, don't they, England, at the moment? But a brilliant win over France. When we're done here at 7:45, just a reminder for you, provided that we don't go to extra time or penalties, we're going to move swiftly on to live coverage on the Talksport network. An 8 p.m. kickoff live here from the Amex with Alex Crook and Troy Deeney calling the action between Brighton and Chelsea. And a reminder tomorrow as well, we've got 3 FA Cup fourth round ties to bring you. Blackburn against Wolves is at 12:30. Plymouth Liverpool is at 3, and Aston Villa Tottenham is at 5:35. Also tonight, live boxing gets underway over on Talksport 2 and the Talksport Boxing YouTube channel at 7 p.m. We're going to bring in the undercard of Derek Chisora versus Otto Wallin. Coverage switching to Talksport at 10 p.m. for the main event. Remember, it's Chisora's 42nd and final fight in the UK, so you don't want to miss that. But let's get some more reaction to today's FA Cup action, shall we? Because it might have gone down as a Stefan Ortega own goal in the end, but all the credit has to go the way of Jamie Donnelly for Leyton Orient's opening goal against Manchester City. It was an absolute beaut. Donnelly spoke afterwards to Talksport and said moments like that are in his locker.
I believe in my ability and my ball striking, and I thought we're not going to get too many chances at getting in our final third, so I thought let me have a shot, and luckily it went in. I've heard it's gone down as an own goal, but I was very happy when we went 1-0 up.
Yeah, gutting for him eventually, and ultimately they were knocked out, but a stunner nonetheless. Bournemouth's brilliant campaign continued with a 2-0 victory at Goodison Park. That was live on Talksport 2. Antonio Iraola made a number of changes, but praised the strength of his squad in getting the job done yet again.
Yes, at the end the cup is a little bit different, and I give always importance to the ones that finish the game, but I think in the cup even they are more important, because you can go to an extra time and then without legs you need players who can make the difference. We decided to leave some of, as you said, the starters or the ones who started the last games on the bench, but the ones that started, like I think it's Ben, Jevo, even Tav, that it was the first start after the injury. They've been very good.
You're listening to FA Cup Game Day live on Talksport with Carling, the official beer partner of the Emirates FA Cup. 18 plus, please drink responsibly. We've brought you a cracking day of action. We've got the second half at St Andrews between Birmingham and Newcastle United to come. After that, we're here at the Amex for Brighton against Chelsea, which should be an absolute cracker. Our commentary team at St Andrews, Sam Matterface and Dean Ashton, are waiting to bring you the second half. Are we expecting any changes from either side, Dean?
I'd be surprised, I think, after that half, which has been a ding-dong half of football. I think you would allow the players to go out and give it a go. The difference is, obviously, when you look at the two benches, Newcastle's is obviously stacked with genuine international quality, and so if the game is tight, then you'd be looking, if you're Eddie Howe at the bench, going, well, I've got players here that can hopefully take the game away from Birmingham. But the longer it goes and stays in there, then you've got the Jukovic's, the Dykes, where you can be a little bit more aggressive and go longer. I don't see, Sam, this letting up, to be honest. I don't see it just suddenly being a very, very tight, tense game.
No, I mean it's been absolutely brilliant so far, Faye. I mean, the atmosphere started it off really. We had the rap artist JK. I know that you've been listening to him on your iPhone on your way down to the Amex Stadium, in between the commentaries from earlier on. But after he'd finished, we had this unbelievable light show. We had fireworks, we had fire cannons, we had the lights turned off. And when I say the lights turned off, you know what it's like when you get to a ground, they turn off the main floodlights. No. They turned off every single light inside this stadium for the arrival of JK. Wow. And then they brought the players out to the fire cannons, they had the fireworks or whatever, and that just set the night off really. And since then it's just been unrelenting. The noise has been brilliant. We are going to get a change actually at the start of the second half, and I think Bruno Guimaraes is going to come off and going to be replaced by Tonali. It's almost as if they've done a bit of a job share.
I love that. They're bringing a bit of the NFL glitz and glamour, aren't they? Which of course we'll bring you at Talksport tomorrow night as well. It's been a ding-dong of a first half, but who's going to ring the victory bell? Let's find out with Dean Ashton and Talksport's chief commentator Sam Matterface.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that, Faye. Yes, welcome back to St Andrews. Sandro Tonali is on. Guimaraes is off for the start of the second half here, as Newcastle look to try and assert their authority on the game again. Just to clear up one thing, there is no goal decision system in use here. The infrastructure remains, because in the Championship Birmingham obviously had to have it. They can't use it in League One because not everyone's got it, but it's not available to them today. So that goal was given by the eagle-eyed linesman, as we thought it was when we saw him flag over on the far side. But I wonder if that had been a bit more controversial had it have been the winning goal, which of course now it won't be. Either way, it's been a bright first 45 minutes, and we would love to see the same. The first game between Birmingham and Newcastle for almost 8 years. It's certainly been worth the wait. These sides met 4 times back in 2016-17. Newcastle won 3-1 in the third round of the FA Cup. That was a replay. They won 4-1 in the league, but they drew twice here. Draw today means extra time and penalties. Although if this goes to extra time the way it's going at the moment, I think we'll all be happy with that, won't we?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think it's for Newcastle, I think, to come out and exert their authority, I think, on the game. You know, Birmingham had a really good run at them in that first half. I think Eddie Howe will have spoken to the players and talked about more control in this half for them on the ball.
Good crossfield ball out to the far side, and Target, who nudges it down into the left wing position where waiting for it was Joe Willock. He shuffles it back to halfway. Newcastle, in those black and white striped jerseys, have the ball with Birmingham camped in their own half, blue shirts, white shorts, blue socks in the mist here at St Andrews, the home of Birmingham City. Ball played infield towards Willock again from target, who spins away from right, gets down the left edge of the penalty area. Miley inside the box, tries to turn away from a couple of challenges. One of those is from Awatu, who scored that super goal. And then it's clipped out to the far touchline, where it's retrieved again by Longstaff into Miley. Miley again, infield. Mistake by Longstaff. That's going to run kindly for Stansfield, and a chance to escape for Birmingham and get the ball up the field. It's played against the Newcastle defender, Tonali, who got back and blocked it, and then it's turned over very quickly, and now it's with Wilson over on the far side. Turns it back infield. Newcastle trying to assert their authority, and they add a bit of pressure onto that Birmingham backline at the start of the second half. Birmingham with Peacock, Farrell in goal, Clara, Davis and Cochran the back three, Laird, Iwata, Leonard and Keshi Anderson, who's been booked in the first half. Kieran Dow playing as the 10 with Wright and Stansfield just ahead of him, and it really is just ahead of him as well. Very well organised Birmingham City team. Nick Pope is the Newcastle goalkeeper. Livramento, Kraft, Byrne, who's been booked, and Target the back four. Miley, Tonali and Longstaff the midfield trio, with Asula, Wilson and Willock up top. Here is Asula, who was dangerous in that first half, down the right hand side, looking to get into a crossing position. The cross takes a little deflection, goes over the top of everybody inside the 18-yard box, out the other side and away for a throw-in. Here's Dean Ashton.
I thought he was a standout player, actually, Asula, for Newcastle in that first half. Caused lots of problems down the right hand side. You can tell still a little bit raw, got a lot to improve still.
Good touch by Wilson into Longstaff inside the area, and he brought it down. The referee gave himself some time, Matt Donoghue. I think he felt, as did most of those of a Birmingham persuasion, that there was a little nick off a hand there, and it's eventually given as a free kick just inside the box away to our right. It's a healthy contingent from Newcastle away to our right hand side in the Jill Merrick stand, and it's a goal kick which is cleared away by Peacock Farrell. Upfield it goes, down to the right-hand side, headed on by Laird. Chasing it into the corner is Wright, but Byrne goes across, holds him off, and then volleys it high up into the night sky. And it's raining here, wet and drizzly, and Wright, who's turned the ball into the 18-yard box at the other end, has got no one to aim at. It's cleared away by Livramento. Anderson's made it difficult for him. Asula's come back to fight Anderson and given away a free kick halfway inside Newcastle territory, wide on the left.
Cool, that was a nasty sort of body clash between Asula and Anderson. Almost rib to rib, the pair of them. Anderson still down holding that rib, and Asula felt it as well.
You know what that reminded me of a little bit? I don't know if you saw it last week, the game between Everton and Leicester, the Yannick Vestergaard challenge in the penalty area that was seen as normal contact.
Yes.
Dow about to take this free kick from the near side. He's a good set-piece deliverer. Newcastle fans in that Gil Merrick stand away to our right-hand side. Just a little bit quiet now, having been pegged back early on and then dragged back into the game after taking a 2-1 lead. Dow's delivery. It's a teasing one to the far post. It just skips away from Ben Davis and Ethan Laird, who were leading the charge into the box. And it goes out on the far side and away for a goal kick.
I don't think he can do much more there, Kieran Dow. Such a fantastic teasing delivery in behind the Newcastle defence. You just need a Birmingham player there to have got away from his marker and almost fly at it with their head with a zippy surface. Can be difficult though with these conditions, that drizzly rain and the surface. You think you've got it and then it just skips off and it's away from you.
Kieran Dow, who's on loan from Rangers until the end of the season. Everton fan who grew up idolising Mikel Arteta. Bet he wasn't happy with Eddie Howe after Wednesday night. What performance that was from Newcastle. This one, a real test for them. They made 9 changes going into the game, and then they switched out one of those who they kept in the team, Guimaraes, at half-time. Ball elevated out towards the far side. It's a good ball into the path of Willock. Willock now trying to tease his way into the box. Very misty and murky here at St Andrews now. That fog has really descended over on the far side, and it's not helped by the drizzly rain in terms of being caught under the floodlights. It's made that far corner of the pitch, especially over to our right, a little bit difficult to sort of garner exactly what's happening. They've given away a free kick in the right full-back position. Willock the guilty party, and it's going to be a Birmingham City ball. Birmingham have won only one of their last 15 meetings with Newcastle United. That was 5-1 away in this competition 18 years ago, and they are winless in 10 meetings with Premier League sides in the FA Cup. But Newcastle pretty ripe for an upset as top flight sides go. Newcastle have been eliminated by teams from a lower division in the FA Cup 32 times. Only Everton have done so more in the competition's history.
They have, however, I think made a proper professional start to this second half. Not allowed Birmingham anything yet. Quieten the crowd slightly.
Dow trying to play a 1-2, didn't get it, then it's sent over the top for Wilson to chase. Defenders and goalkeeper will deal with that pretty routinely, and then it will be tossed back for Stansfield to try and get in behind Byrne. Byrne is being harassed by Stansfield, won it and then almost lost it, and as it went out into the left full-back position, Stansfield nabbed it. Tonali jumps in and wins it powerfully, then clips it forward towards Wilson, who tries to guide it on to Asula, but across comes Cochrane, tidies up for Birmingham on halfway. I think Tonali's been a revelation, by the way, in that sixth position, just in front of the back four, but with licence when he needs to, not only to play those brilliant diagonal balls, but to power forward too. Laird into the penalty area from the right-hand side. Well, he's completely outwitted Matt Targett by out-jumping him and taking the ball that Matt Targett didn't anticipate. His first time ball into the box was brilliant, but there was no one that was on the same wavelength and got up with him.
And he should be fuming with his forward players because he did brilliantly. Flicked on and got the flick on himself.
Here's the cross from the left-hand side into the box at the far post. Leonard's delivery is teased towards the back edge of the 6-yard box. It eventually came off of Len and goes behind. And I think there's a little bit of an issue here for Dan Byrne, who doesn't look particularly comfortable. Just gone down on his haunches and might need a little bit of treatment. He was just hobbling a little bit before that, and he's put his hand in the air and he's waved over towards the bench, and I think they're going to have to make a substitution, and that's the problem, isn't it? You know, when you do make 9 changes and you don't take him off, he's only been the captain for a few minutes because he took over from Bruno Guimaraes at half-time, and now I think they're going to bring on Fabian Schär, and the captain's armband being placed on the left bicep by the referee Matt O'Donoghue of Sean Longstaff. 2 changes then. On comes Fabian Schär for Dan Byrne, and on comes Jacob Murphy. And who's he going to come on for? I wouldn't be surprised if it was Wilson, you know, on the basis that Wilson has had so little football.
And you're right. You know, you've got to protect him. He won't want to come off. But when you're building that fitness back up, it's about being patient, being professional, knowing your body, which I'm sure he does. Last thing he wants is to be out, and you want to protect him. He's a massive asset for Newcastle.
And so is Dan Byrne, actually. And he, I think, has gone under the radar a little bit because, you know, when you look at all the recruitment and stuff that they've done, and you know, when you go through all of the changes at Newcastle, the fact that maybe, possibly, the next set of Newcastle players that win a trophy could include Dan Byrne, a symbol of what the club means to the locals, even with the money injected after the takeover. That's quite something.
I think he's taken to the magnitude of the club, understood it, and actually he's been so ever present in different positions as well. He's been vital at times when they've had injuries.
And he's off now, and he will have to get some treatment of his own. Jacob Murphy is on, and Murphy's come out towards the right-hand side. Asula has gone as the point man, as the lead striker now. It's 2-2. You're listening to Talksport, and we can get team news from Brighton, where Alex Crook is waiting for us.
And Nicholas Jackson not in the Chelsea squad due to that hamstring injury suffered against West Ham on Monday. Reece James also absent as the visitors make 6 changes. Sanchez is back in goal. Gusto, Chalobah, Dewsbury Hall, Neto and Nkunku also come in. Just one change for Brighton from the 7-0 drumming at Forest as Carlos Baliba returns from injury to replace João Pedro.
Big problem here for Birmingham City over on the far touchline. Leonard has gone down, and I don't know if he went down off the ball there, but
I think they just almost possibly a shin clash with Lewis Miley as he's gone sliding in. Lewis Miley just stepping, foot's not high, but
Leonard
catches
came
him
sliding across the grass, didn't he, and collided with Miley. It was a 50-50 challenge. Miley actually connects with the ball. Well, maybe it is a 50-50, a blatant 50-50, but Miley comes across unscathed, but Leonard has stayed down, and then it continued for a little while, and he was still on the pitch. They've now stopped it, and he's awaiting further treatment. We played 57 and a bit minutes. You're listening to Talksport. We're live at the home of Birmingham City. It's 2-2.
Yeah, Ethan Ladd's just gone over to the referee. He's kind of saying to him, he stood on him with his studs there, Miley. I mean, Miley's foot is not high at all. You know, it's really low, but the studs end up on Leonard's shin.
Is that natural?
His foot's not high, so his heel's almost dragging on the floor. It's clearly an issue, though, for Leonard. You hope it's not a serious one. It could even be a gash on his knee.
Yeah, well, I was thinking about the knee issue because actually, if you watch it closely, it's the knee that sort of gets the last bit of contact, isn't it? At the top of the knee. Just wonder whether or not that is the concern. What a fantastic first 45 minutes we had. Iwata's goal, the crown jewel in what was a brilliant first 45 minutes. And we're still waiting for Mark Leonard to get back on his feet after that clash. This place absolutely packed tonight, absolutely full to brimming. And it's not a romantic story Birmingham City's won. It's great for their fans. It's potentially great for the city, actually, because the new stadium could be at the heart of a brand new sports campus. It could change the whole landscape, the vision with which Tom Wagner and Tom Brady have, and the £9 billion hedge fund. But they're an example of the kind of football ownership that we've got now. It's a game for the mind-bogglingly rich. Newcastle in a similar sort of boat. You'll get barbs from other fans. There will be things you have to wrestle with internally, but that is going to be the game over the next 20 years, and I suppose you just have to enjoy the football.
Yeah, and it's not all just going to happen. It's just not as easy as that. You know, we've got such an incredibly competitive pyramid that it is so difficult, even with the money behind, with the vision. You know, to get it right on the pitch is still very, very difficult. They're managing it very well at the moment in League One, Chris Davis. And it's just trying to continue to build on the momentum that they've clearly got at the moment.
Alphonse Samsted is about to come off. Is it Williamson? Well, either way, they're going to make a change here. I think it will be Williamson eventually who comes on. It'll be good to see him again because I'll tell you what, he's a good little player. I like the look of him when I saw him earlier in the season down at Sutton and in a few of the other Birmingham games in which I've seen. Came from Go Ahead Eagles, a playmaker. Scored the winner in round 1 against Sutton. Missed the last 6 games through injury. And I tell you what, you do worry about how long Mark Leonard is going to miss now because he is still not off the pitch, still receiving treatment. And the players now starting to play little triangles with balls around the pitch just to keep themselves warm because the temperature's dropped. And there's no sign that he is going to be removed from the pitch anytime soon. So there's a significant delay here. I don't know how many times you've been to St Andrews this season, but they have had some shindigs here, you know.
I've not been here since 2001.
Have you not? Well, it has changed a little bit since then, just a little bit. David Beckham, Tom Brady, Ryan Reynolds, Rob McElhenney were all in the posh seats just over on that far side opposite us when they played Wrexham in the battle of the celeb teams. I mean, with all due respect to Dean Ashton and Eddie Howe, there was a little bit more glitz and glamour here that night, just a little bit. Since beating Wrexham in the Hollywood Bowl, as it became known, Birmingham have cruised further ahead at the top of League One. They have an 8-point lead over third place Wrexham with 2 games in hand. But they are going to lose Mark Leonard here, who is now being lifted into the air and taken off on a stretcher by 6 stretcher bearers walking towards the near touchline. We do wish him the best. And it is going to be Willemsen who comes on, the Icelandic international. 22 starts this season. This is appearance number 26.
It's just awful for a player to have to leave in that manner. The worrying thought of the injury. He knew straight away. He reacted straight away. He knew something was wrong. And rightly so, the crowd give him a fantastic ovation as he has to leave.
Yeah, his arms were over the front of his eyes as he was taken off and came off the playing surface here. So he obviously clearly in pain or incredibly concerned, and they've strapped up the left leg. He's now just being wheeled away towards the tunnel, which is in the far corner, and we're about to get underway. And the referee quite sensibly actually waiting till he's a bit further away from the playing surface before they start trying to get back underway, which they now do. And still remaining here, we have at least another half hour, if not more, with added time. 63 on the clock. The ball out over on the far side, another collision, and this time involving another Birmingham player. It went back to Peacock Farrell. He launched it left-footed out towards the right-hand side, and Ethan Laird got absolutely smashed into by Target. He was Matt's target.
I mean, they've looked for that. Peacock Farrell with his left foot has arrowed that across plenty of times already in the game. It's been a strong aerial battle between the two. It's probably one of the first that Target has got a part of, but he's got a big part of Ethan Laird as well.
Free kick. Willemsen was going to take it over on the far side. It's a left-footed drive into the box. Out comes Pope, and all 6 foot 6 inches of Nick Pope come out, grab the ball from the sky and clear it away. One of the things you notice about Nick Pope when he is in goal for Newcastle is just how blooming big he is. He is absolutely huge, isn't he? There's such an imposing stature. He's kicking the ball long now, right-footed, right through the middle of the pitch here at St Andrews. 2-2 the score. Just under half an hour to play now, here in the FA Cup 4th round on a misty, cold night in Birmingham, with Fabian Schär, one of the substitutes, playing it square to Kraft as Newcastle look to build from the back. 2-2. Remember, if it stays like this, we'll have extra time, possibly even penalties. The ball clipped down the right, looking for Murphy. Murphy takes it down, looks to get past Cochrane, can't do so. Comes back to him though, Murphy, who's got Livramento outside him. It took him a little while to decide to use him. Back to Murphy it goes, then into Tonali, round the corner. No one continued their run. Cochrane's going to see that out, and it's going to go out for a goal kick away to our right as he shepherds the ball behind. And it is a goal kick out to our right-hand side.
It just always takes a little bit of time after an injury like that and a stoppage for the game to get going again, and it hasn't yet in this second half. There's been a couple of changes. There's been the injury. Neither team yet to gain any momentum in this second half.
The statistics are interesting. 63% ball possession for Newcastle United tonight. They've had 7 attempts on goal. 5 of those have come on target. They've scored twice. 5 on target from Birmingham as well. Another challenge over on the far side, which the referee didn't quite like, from Stansfield this time. It was Fabian Schär who went running over to the corner, trying to shield the ball, and then Stansfield just sort of shrugged him off, and he went into the advertising boarding, and the referee then just sort of pulling Stansfield away. Schär saying he's hurt his back, crashing into the electronic advertising board. The last thing they knew, having lost Botman to an injury, Byrne having to come off in this game for an injury, is to have Fabian Schär have a problem now too. And Lewis Hall now having to warm up.
Oh, he's got a yellow card, Stansfield, and rightly so. Cher got across there, looking to just see the ball out, gets his body in the way, just gives Stansfield a bit of a shove, but then Stansfield grabs Cher and kind of throws him in towards the advertising hoardings on that side. But Cher's up, he's okay.
No problems.
He was just milking it enough, I think.
There's only 22, Jay Stansfield, but he can give it to a man 11 years his senior.
His work rate has been outstanding up there. He's not given them a second's rest, the two centre-backs.
And Cher might have got done by young Sonny, but he's back on his feet now. You're listening to Birmingham 2, Newcastle 2 in the FA Cup Game Day Live on Talksport with Carling, the official beer partner of the Emirates FA Cup. 18 plus, please drink responsibly. And if you are listening in the United States of America and Canada, or Canada, this afternoon, then wherever you are, we welcome you, our friends, to our coverage from St Andrews on Sirius XFM FC across that continent. Another collision involving Laird. Another yellow card comes out, this time for Callum Wilson. And that's disappointing for him. For Joe Willock, sorry. Not Callum Wilson, he was substituted. There's been too many stoppages in the last few minutes, Dean, which has just disrupted the rhythm of the game a bit, I think.
Oh, it has. It has. With the beauty of what we saw in the first half, we're seeing the battling, ugly side of football too, where it does get a little bit scrappy and neither team can find a rhythm, neither team can find momentum.
There's a huge amount of stoppages as well.
I'm sure it'll build towards the end of the game, though.
Yeah, we'll certainly hope that's the case.
Well, because neither team will want extra time either. They'll both want to get this done. And it's nicely poised too.
It certainly is. Coming up towards the 70-minute mark. Jasper Carrott, who's in the building tonight. Sitting and watching from the posh seats. The famous comic. Used to be on the TVs quite a lot in the 80s and early 90s. Ball hit from distance. And it was some distance by Kieran Dow from about 30 yards out. Didn't quite catch it with the same sort of pristine connection that Jamie Donnelly managed down at Brisbane Road earlier today.
No, but he did just see Nick Pope slightly off his line. Sat up lovely for him to volley as well, but just got the power, no dip, just continued straight in the air.
Interesting to see that it's Williamson who's gone in behind the two front players as well, because he is the string puller, and that means Dow's had to play a little bit deeper, and I just wonder whether or not there's enough muscularity in there now. Ball's been played down the left-hand side, looking for Willock again. Across comes Clara and clears. Up towards Cher, who nabs it out of the sky. Right. Well, he just sort of pushed him a little bit and took the ball off, and then Williamson trying to get the ball back in towards the near post, and then there was a pull down inside the penalty area. The linesman has flagged over on the far side, but he's flagged for an offside. And the Birmingham supporters getting a little bit excited that the referee was about to point to the spot, because Stansfield had just come from the blind side there and looked to try and win the ball. And then Keshi Anderson went down the right, looking to try and tussle for it. He felt that maybe he was pulled down. The referee said no, and the offside was given against Birmingham.
Well, Keshi Anderson has just caught, I think it's Longstaff, just taking a while to get his head up, and he's stepped, as soon as he's stepped in front of Longstaff, he's gone down. To me, it looked more as if Keshi Anderson had produced the contact rather than Longstaff actually even attempting to kick the ball. And the referee saw right through it.
Ball cleared upfield by Newcastle. Willock goes down the left. Clara steps across, nudges him off the pitch. It was a pretty blatant sort of shove with his backside from Clara, which has knocked Willock off the pitch and given a free kick. I mean, we haven't had four passes consecutively played to one another in the last 10 minutes or so, Dean. It's been completely stop-start an anathema to what we saw in the first 45 minutes.
Yeah, more yellow cards than accurate passes at the moment. And it is a yellow card. Yes, he reads it, but Willock, the ball's gone right past Willock and past Clara. And Clara's just thought, here's my chance. I'm just going to barrel into Willock, like you say, with his hip backside, and just shoves him off the pitch. You are going to get a yellow card for that now. It lifts the crowd. Don't get me wrong, it lifts the crowd, but gives you a yellow card.
Here's the free kick as a result, which is cleared away. It comes back to the edge of the area, shot by Miley, that breaks kindly for Murphy, who hits it straight at Peacock Farrell. I mean, he wasn't looking at the ball at all. He only had eyes for Willock, and you saw that on the replay. Clearly sort of grimaced his face and stared at Willock and then went to charge at him. I don't know why he was complaining. Here's Murphy down the near side, trying to play it through a tight gap. Across comes Williamson, nicks it, but then it's won back by Longstaff. Tonali, edge of the area is Osula. Osula trying to get away from Ben Davis, who's tracking him. Then it's played to Livramento, down by the corner flag. Tries to evade Davis, shuffles it back. Good defending by Birmingham. And then it goes back to halfway. And it remains 2-2 on Talksport. Back with Kraft into Osula. Advantage has been played here because they're on the attack. The back heel comes into the centre. It's cleared away by Iwata, but there's going to be a yellow card incoming for Ben Davis here, I think. Here is Murphy with a delivery in towards the near post, flicked away by Davis, and then Stansfield, lovely touch to get it out towards the right hand side, and then goes past Tonali, and then Tonali is helped out by Murphy, and then Kraft gives it back to Stansfield. He escapes down the left, feeds it into Kieran Dow, ball towards the edge of the box, comes back out towards right, strikes it, blocked by Miley, and then cleared away by Tonali.
I mean, Stansfield's persistent there was outstanding, and they've won it back again.
Over on the far side, Williamson's got it, left-footed, blocked by Willock. They're going to have to match them for endeavour if they want to get away from here with anything, Newcastle. And Willock now, I think, has hurt himself over on the far side. He had a collision with Williamson. The referee immediately blew the whistle. He's now gone down over on the far side. He tried to continue to run down that touchline and then had to stop because he was injured in that collision. And it's going to be a free kick just over the halfway line.
I wonder if he was just caught on the Achilles there, Willock, as he got away from Williamson. And I mean, look, he was away, so he wouldn't want it to stop, but clearly the pain he felt on the ankle or on the Achilles meant he just couldn't continue.
That is an horrible injury, by the way, if you've ever got that done on your Achilles. It is painful, and sometimes you don't know where the pain's coming from. I think it's the side of the ankle, to be fair, which is good news for Joe Willock. At the other end, just before that, Ben Davis had gone through Osula. I thought he was going to get a yellow card for that. It might be that he escapes it. Williamson has got a yellow card for his challenge just now, but Davis didn't get pulled back by the referee and dished out with a booking. I was surprised by that.
That is a freebie then for Davis. Absolutely clatters through the back of Osula, who took a lovely touch away from the defender. You don't like to see it, but you wonder whether that Leonard injury, whether Birmingham, it's just given them an edge, hasn't it? They've looked to go in on every challenge, and it's just suddenly got an edge this game, whereas it was just free-flowing football in the first half. Now there's kind of a real edge to the game.
Well, there's still a ways to go. 75 on the clock. Going to be a couple of substitutions here. In fact, there's going to be 3 substitutions for Birmingham City. They're going to bring on Christian Bilic, they're going to bring on Lyndon Dykes, and they're going to bring on Alfie May. So 3 changes. Clara comes off, Bilic comes on. Bilic will take over the captain's armband and defensive duties. And oh no, Clara's going to stay on, but he is taking the captain's armband, Bilic. Anderson looks like he's coming off. There's a problem now with someone else in the middle of the park, a Birmingham player who's gone down after a collision. Well, Anderson's come off Dykes is on. May is on. And we can't really see who's coming on off the pitch now, because there's everybody standing up trying to take pictures. But I think it might be Stansfield who's emerging from the playing service on this near side.
I just wonder whether that's going to change the shape with Keshi Anderson going off, whether they'll go to a 4, which they've played at times this season. Because you would expect Bielik to go into the back line or midfield. So we'll just wait to see if that is a slight formation change for Chris Davis.
Yep. Free kick over on the far side. Scott Wright coming off as well during that exchange. Here's the free kick on the halfway line for Newcastle. Up towards the edge of the box. It's headed away by Williamson, then down by Kraft towards Murphy. Murphy now trying to move it forward into Longstaff. Longstaff finding Murphy once again, and then Tonali tries to play it round the corner. Livramento with a right-footed ball into the box, steered away by Davis, and it goes out towards the near side. Here is Livramento though, winning it off of Alfie May, trying to play it into the box, away by Clara, and then further towards the right. Willock has fed the ball to Target. Target's ball to the far post. Livramento was waiting for it to drop. He's teed it back up for Longstaff, who's miskicked it, and then Willock couldn't connect with it, and it's shepherded away by the Birmingham defence.
Just couldn't quite show the quality there, could they? Great ball from Fabian Schär.
Out towards the near side. And I think Cochrane has gone to left wing back now. Bielik has gone into the right-sided centre-half position, so Clara and Davis have shifted across. The Watter is still in midfield with Williamson and Dow. And Alfie May leads the line with Lyndon Dykes.
Yeah, big man, little man, up the top now. Means you can try and hit a little bit sooner. Try and then get Dykes to flick on to Alfie May.
Here is Livramento down the right side, in towards the near post, flicked away by Davis. Collected by Longstaff, who sends it back to Kraft. It's camped on the edge of the Birmingham penalty area here. Birmingham dropping a little bit deeper now, and they're being forced back by Newcastle United. Murphy with a cross deep towards the far post. It took a little deflection, that, I think, although the referee didn't see it that way, and it's going to be a goal kick away to our right-hand side. So Anderson off, Scott Wright off, and Jay Stansfield off, and that means that Bielik, May have come on, and there was also another change in the middle of the park as well. Lyndon Dykes, who came on up top for Stansfield.
Yeah, well, Dykes, I mean, look, he's so good in the air. And he's got a 95% success rate in aerial duels this season in League One. It basically means he doesn't miss a header. So they'll want to try and hit him, as they are trying to do now.
That one's just a little bit over his head. It's taken down by Schär in the middle of the penalty area. It's helped out towards this near side, the right. And then it's pushed further forward by Murphy. Then Tonali was dispossessed, and he wanted a free kick that he wasn't going to get, and then he did get it. The referee allowed the play to continue. Dykes was attacking down the left. May was moving into an advanced position, and the referee then blew the whistle for the challenge that had happened 5 seconds beforehand.
It was a foul. And also I don't know why he was looking as if to give the advantage, because Lyndon Dykes ran onto it. Just a little brain reboot from Matt Donoghue, and came to the right decision.
10 minutes to go. And it is 2-2 and finally poised. We had 4 goals in the first half, none in the second. It hasn't been as good a second half as it had been in the first 45 minutes. But Newcastle have won it with Longstaff, edge of the area. Miley trying to bound his way through. He continues to run down the right touchline, produces a cross into the box, but it's too close to the goalkeeper. You've just got the feeling there with Lewis Miley that after winning it on the edge of the box, he tried to do a little bit too much.
Well, every time he shifted it thinking I've got the gap to shoot, a blue shirt appeared, and then he shifted it again away from that blue shirt and another blue shirt appeared. It was just really good backing up defensive play from Birmingham.
Into the air by Kraft. The ball drops as Newcastle look to clear after Bailey Peacock-Farrell had hammered the ball into the Newcastle half. There's a tense 15 minutes still to play here, with the added time that is bound to be put on at the end of the game. Miley out to the left. Willock trying to take on the Birmingham defence. Gets it onto his right foot. Or it's sent right out to the other side, and Livramento on the angle of the penalty area. Now on to Longstaff. And then in towards Willock. Arriving late inside the 6-yard box through the legs of the goalkeeper and in. He celebrates in front of the Newcastle supporters. A brilliant move, a lovely ball out towards the right-hand side initially, which found Livramento, and when it was helped into the middle and picked up by Willock, his first-time effort went through the legs of Bailey Peacock-Farrell, and Newcastle United had the lead for the second time on the night. It's Birmingham City 2, Newcastle 3.
Well, like the ale in Newcastle, this was beautifully crafted. It was just so good down the right-hand side. Played in, 1 and 2 touch, runners beyond, third man runners to take the Birmingham City defenders away who have been so good. But when you need a massive bit of luck, when you need a big bit of help in what's been a scrappy second half, they had it. Because once it gets to that right-hand side and Longstaff looks to then play the ball in, it ricochets perfectly to Willock, who's nice and alive. He just sees a nice gap between the goalkeeper's legs, and he just gets his head down and hits it low and hard and skips it off the surface, and it is past the goalkeeper in a flash. But you need that luck sometimes to fall for you. Well, it did.
What's beautiful about this is that it's Willock who, on the far side of the pitch, plays the ball laterally, just out of reach of the Birmingham midfield, that it reaches Livramento. He shifts it on down the right channel into Longstaff, who nudges it infield. It takes a little deflection, just sits up nicely, but Willock had continued his run from the left edge of the area right across the box to the right side of the 6-yard box, and he arrived in the nick of time to steer Newcastle into the lead.
I was just really impressed with the runners off the ball in that move for Newcastle to open up the space. But you're right, Willock's he's just arriving, and he's on the move, hoping it just happens to fall for him. And then he had the composure to finish.
Iwata coming off, and Grant Hanley, new signing, has played 10 minutes since being picked up from Norwich, comes on. And I wonder where he's going to play.
He'll probably go into the back and Bielik in midfield, I would assume.
No, I was going to say, he's not going to play as a holding midfield player or a playmaker, is he? Ball over on the far side, a corner into the near post, so it's missed by everyone, and it's cleared off the line by Pope and spooned behind. And Alfie May can't believe that chance wasn't converted, because Newcastle made a right meal of dealing with that corner kick from the left-hand side, swung through the box. He travelled far too far, and Pope had to react right at the very last and pull out his big right foot and clear it off the line. Here's the corner. Dow in towards the back post. Header down across the face of goal. Asula picks it off. Laird comes in, smashes it, hits Tonali, spirals into the sky. Collected by Dow, who takes it out of play. It's away for a throw-in on this near side for Newcastle, who need to take the sting out of the game. Talksport, Saturday Night Football, live from St Andrews. We've got more of it coming up in just a few moments. We've got Brighton against Chelsea. At the moment, there's no extra time here, but I wouldn't rule it out. We've still got 5 minutes of normal time to play, plus at least a couple of minutes, if not 4 or 5 of additional time at the end of the match.
Well, I've still got no idea who actually came off in the end. It went right through and then ricocheted possibly off a Newcastle player, and then Nick Pope, with a stilt-like leg, just stuck it out to his right-hand side and makes a brilliant save because he sees it so late.
Great save from Nick Pope. Super save. And he stuck out his right foot, spooned it away, and it's kept Newcastle in front in the game. And they would dearly love to get through this tie. It's a tough tie. It's a proper FA Cup 4th round scrap down at St Andrews. The first half was just non-stop tempo, end-to-end attacking and brilliant flair football. The second half has been a fight. The first half might have been well-crafted Alexander Usyk. The second half very much Derek Chisora.
Yes. But there'll be some that love this. The second half too.
That love Derek Chisora because he sold out the Co-op Arena in Manchester tonight, and you'll hear his fight, possibly his last on British soil, live this evening on Talksport.
Sula's just been caught on his ankle once again. The ability to keep hold of the ball and fend defenders off has been a real positive from him in this game.
Well, free kick will be given against Birmingham for the challenge on Asula, and it's 15 yards outside the penalty area, wide on the right-hand side. It gives Murphy the chance to try and curl one in towards the middle of the box. And if they were to get another goal now, that certainly would finish it off. The ball delivered into a dangerous area. It's flicked away by one of the defenders. It might well have been Lyndon Dykes who got his head on that ball and flicked it out towards the far side. Laird is trying to escape down the touchline over on the right-hand side, bounding forward and then pushing it into an area, but Lyndon Dykes is not going to make that. Laird thinks he was fouled after the ball was kicked. The referee didn't see it, and we play on at St Andrews with Newcastle in possession. Now over on the right-hand side. Look at the space there is for Willock in the centre. Not found by Jacob Murphy. And the ball cleared by Bielik, who has now stepped into midfield. Longstaff back to Livramento. Then Longstaff being harassed from behind by Dow. Back to Kraft, who clips it into the air. Taken down by Matt Target. Former Villa man at the home of Birmingham City tonight. And shifted back to Cher from Willock, and it was a bit of a spicy ball which he only just about dealt with, but Willock has got it back again now. And Newcastle just got to keep possession and try and kill any momentum that Birmingham City can build up here. They come forward down the right. Livramento into Murphy, back towards Tonali, struck it well, it was blocked. Then Miley goes into the area. He goes down under pressure from Bielik, but the referee shakes his head and says play on.
Oh, what a great block that was from Grant Hanley. He's only just come on. Ball played back from Murphy to Tonali, and he just timed the diving block perfectly with his left foot, because Tonali connected really nicely with the volley.
It was a super strike from Tonali, well blocked by the Scotland international, and he's kept Birmingham within touching distance of Newcastle United. Again, it came down the right. Livramento feeding it towards the right side of the area, pulled back by Murphy, and it did come back nicely for Tonali, but he covered the ground so quickly, Grant Hanley. Ball cleared down the left-hand side by Newcastle. Hanley heads it forward. It drops in centre field. Pushed further up by Bielik, who's got it back again, and he steered it into the path of May, but he can't quite connect with it, and it runs across his body, and Newcastle get it clear, but Laird is sending it back the other way. We're into the 90th minute of the game. We're going to have 12 minutes of added time, Dean Ashton.
Good, because it's a brilliant finish to the game, and Birmingham, they'll know that. For Newcastle, it's about stopping momentum. You know, making fouls when you possibly need to, keeping the ball, just not allow it. Oh, it's a great ball.
It's beautiful, and there's a mistake by Cochrane, and in goes Murphy. He's got the support, but he doesn't need it. He's going to fire it goalwards, and he's been cleared off the line. Brilliant. Davis getting back and just about squeezing it behind. He took too long to pull the trigger there, Murphy. Went on the outside of the goalkeeper, beat him, decided not to shift it into Asula, went for glory himself on the breakaway after a mistake by Cochrane, and it was cleared off the line by Ben Davies, who got back and hacked it away.
Yeah, has no right really, does he? I mean, it's a fantastic crossfield pass from Willock to Murphy, who takes a horrible touch to start with, but then does the right thing, goes around the goalkeeper, thinks I've definitely scored, smashes it with power towards the goal from a tight angle, and there's Davis to save his team for the 12 minutes.
12 minutes still to play, a very long time indeed, and we're just about to go into that 12 minutes. Off it goes, and here is on the right hand side Livramento bursting away to try and get into an advanced position. 3-2 the score. Lyndon Dykes comes forward for Birmingham City, plays it into the middle looking for Alfie May, overhits the ball, giving it away. Tonali's got it back again. Newcastle need to show a calm head, the calm head their manager shows so often in order to get through this. Murphy, who maybe just got a little bit hot-headed when he saw the sight of Peacock Farrell's goal just a moment ago and didn't finish the job. They needed to ruthlessly kill off Birmingham then, they didn't, and we still got a few minutes left, and May tries to beat the offside trap, but the flag goes up, and as the ball was played through to him by Lyndon Dykes, he just went a little bit too early. I don't think he was going to get there anyway, because out came the goalkeeper Pope at rapid speed and cleared.
Yeah, it was an overhit from Dykes, but he tried to jink back onside, didn't quite make it, but that's where they're more useful with Dykes in there. They can fire it in towards him, he can get hold of it with his strength and then try and play Alfie May in.
I'm not sure that he was offside, you know. It's very tight. Tuesday night, big game for Birmingham. They've got Cambridge here and then Charlton on Saturday to keep their League One unbeaten run going. They're going to lose their unbeaten run here, the first time they've been defeated in 19 games. Then they've got Reading away before Leyton Orient and Wycombe come here in back-to-back matches. And the form that Leyton Orient are on at the moment, that's going to be a difficult one for the away side, Newcastle. Their next match, the small matter of going to the Etihad Stadium in Manchester before welcoming Nottingham Forest to St James's Park. Two huge fixtures for them, followed by a trip to Liverpool. Here is Murphy down the right-hand side, getting towards the edge of the penalty area. He tries to shoot towards the far corner after cutting in on his left foot from the angle, and just didn't wrap his foot around it enough to get any curl in it. He was off balance when he struck it anyway.
He does like a shot though, does Murphy. Either foot, strikes it extremely well with either foot as well. Got the confidence. He's made a difference since coming on, actually. You can tell he's in form in the starting 11 in the Premier League. And he's had a nice sharp edge to his play.
Jacob Murphy, Newcastle Scott Minto.
Explain?
Loves a shot. Whenever you go out with Scott, always turns up with a tray of shots. Nightmare, absolute nightmare. I think you and I both experienced that over Christmas, didn't we?
Yes.
Here is Murphy, round the corner into Longstaff. We've still got a good 9 minutes of added time to play here at the end of the game. It's 3-2 to Newcastle United. Alex Crook and Troy Deeney bringing you live commentary from Brighton against Chelsea at 8 o'clock tonight. That's live as soon as we finished here. And then the fight with Derek Chisora in action straight afterwards. So that's a dicey back pass to Peacock Farrell. And Miley couldn't close him down in time, and Peacock Farrell manages to squeeze it into the path of Christoph Klara, the tall, muscular, blonde Austrian, who is now at the heart of the defence with Hanley and Davis, who've made that clearance off the line, which has given Birmingham hope. We're still 8 minutes of stoppage time to play. But here's Miley. Can Newcastle show the maturity, despite all their changes and concerns over a couple of injuries, to get through this unscathed?
They've just got to keep it like a keep ball session. Like there, Kraft has gone long. There's no need for that. Just keep the ball. If you're Tonali and Longstaff, you start getting on the ball, start playing little triangles like they would do in training. You've just got to stop any momentum that Birmingham can try and build.
Eddie Howe on the near touchline, trying desperately to indicate what he wants from his team, but it's up to Dykes, who's nodded it into the path of Alfie May, left side of the area, looking for a shooting position. Well, he's managed to find one, but it was such a difficult, tricky route. It was almost like trying to shoot through the eye of a needle. He managed to do it, but without the pace that was required to upset Nick Pope.
I mean, it was such a simple attack. Clipped ball in towards Dykes. He wins the header. It falls for May. May uses the overlapping run from Cochrane to then cut inside on his right foot. Just when he needs to strike, he bobbles it.
Cochrane with a mistake. He's headed the ball on towards Asula, right edge of the area. He's gone for the Iwata, and he's not as accurate. It's well over the top.
That was purely, I've put so much work into the game as a forward player. This is my chance to just get out of my feet and have an attempt at goal. He was never set. There was never really the angle for it. The defender was in front of him, and in the end he whacks it over the bar.
And we still have 6 and a bit minutes of added time to play on Talksport, with time ticking away, and Newcastle leading by 3-2, but with Birmingham posing a threat, as they have done throughout the entirety of this match. They've had a bit of a difficult time in the FA Cup too. They haven't gone beyond this round since 2020, and they're not going to go beyond it unless they can come up with a goal here to take us into extra time. Grant Hanley on halfway, chipping it forward. Header away by Emil Kraft. Drops in midfield. Bielik gets hold of it. Then it's steered further out to the right-hand side and Laird. His cross is blocked by Target. It's out for a throw midway inside Newcastle's half of the field. And Eddie Howe trying to get everybody back behind the ball. And he's screaming and shouting, and I think he's really trying to almost control the movements of Will Asula to ensure that he gets involved and helps out in defending from the front. Longstaff on halfway, draws the foul from Cochrane, will take his time over the free kick, and that gets a clap from the manager, Eddie Howe.
Well, especially with Lyndon Dykes on, you want to try and get the ball wide. You want to try and get a delivery in for him to attack. There's been a slight disconnect as well between the forwards and the midfield area since Dowell went out of that position.
Livramento combining with Longstaff into the centre. Bielik slides across. The ball drops into the air. Asula tries to keep it alive. He does keep it alive brilliantly, and it's popped behind and away by Clara and out for a corner right at the very end of the game. We've played 8 minutes of stoppage time on Talksport. We've been allocated 12. It's coming up to 7:45, which means there won't be too much time for us to build up to Brighton against Chelsea, but we'll do our best to squeeze it all in before we bring you live commentary of that game. It's one of those weekends where we just bounce from game to game to game. This one of 11 live commentaries, plus the fight as well. Loads of cricket for you as well this winter on Talksport and Talksport 2, so it is definitely the place to be. Here is Tonali down by the corner flag. Tomorrow we've got 3 live commentaries back to back, including Aston Villa, Tottenham, Plymouth against Liverpool tomorrow as well, which should be a belter. That's exclusive to national radio right here on Talksport. Nobody else will bring you that game across the nation on the radio. Ball out over on the far side. Newcastle will be pleased with that. It was hoiked upfield by Peacock Farrell, went straight out of play. And Matt Target will take all the time in the world over this throw-in. We've only played 9 of the 12 that have been added, Dean.
But they've managed it well,
superbly, yeah.
You know, you're waiting for a push from Birmingham, and it's just not there. It's been really good defensive work from Newcastle.
In particular, I think the man who's done a great job in that middle of the park is Longstaff, earning fouls at just the right time. He's just given away one here, and that might be a bit of an issue, because Peacock Farrell has come right up to the halfway line to take this free kick, and everyone has gone forward. It's now or never for Birmingham City. Pumped forward by Peacock Farrell, up towards Clara. Hanley helps it on, and it goes through to Pope, who comes out, gratefully receives it, pulls it into his chest, and even the most hardy Birmingham souls now believe that there's going to be no late drama. There was plenty of drama in the first half, Dean. It was non-stop action, but Newcastle United are going to emerge into round 5 of this competition. Asula taking on Davis, who cleared off the line from Jacob Murphy. Asula taking it to the corner, loses it to Bielik, but it's still down there away from harm's way, and then it goes out for a goal kick. I don't even think it has gone out, actually. It's still down on the byline, and the referees allowed play on, and Birmingham playing their way out and up the pitch, and it's on to Williamson, who needs an outlet, but Tonali is there. Brilliant intervention from Sandro Tonali to stop the Birmingham attack.
Excellent, wasn't it? But Williamson needed to know, he needed to sense it, get that ball out of his feet, because that was the opportunity.
Birmingham's 18-match unbeaten record is about to come to an end. And such has been the paltry return in the FA Cup that Newcastle are looking to reach the 5th round in consecutive campaigns for the first time in 20 years. Ball cleared away by Cher, but picked back up by Dykes, who's fed it to Cochrane. This could be the last chance. Into the box it goes, away by Cher. And it's up as far as Osula, who gets headed in the back by Clara. The free kick is given against Clara. The game is stopped, and the wait goes on for Newcastle to hear that full-time whistle and get a little bit of respite, and it just kills a bit of momentum again for Birmingham City.
They've just not been able to get the momentum in this whole 12 minutes.
Do you think that the changes, and I think you sort of alluded to it with the Kieran Dow sort of switch of position, him playing a little bit deeper, actually has stunted them rather than helped them?
Yeah, Williamson has come on and not linked the same way I think Dowell did. Also, you're losing that energy of Stansfield, Alfie May and Dykes. They're very, very different players. And actually, probably as centre-backs, Kraft and Cher would maybe prefer to play against a Dykes and a May, rather than that sharpness, the pace, the energy of Stansfield. And they've just looked comfortable in the 12 minutes.
Well, they didn't look comfortable in the 45 minutes that came before it. 20 minutes of the second half was a right battle and a scrap. The latter part of this half has been brilliant. Alexander Isak is going to replace Osula right at the very end of the game, just to waste a few more precious seconds. That first 45 minutes was a classic, and it has been a brilliant FA Cup tie, hasn't it? It's been an absolute corker of an FA Cup tie. Non-stop entertainment, apart from that bit in the middle of their second half where it became a little bit stop-start and we weren't getting a flow at all. But Joe Willock's goal is going to settle it.
I mean, that first half was just brilliant. Just so much fun to watch here live and feel the atmosphere that we had in that first half. Second half, actually, I think Eddie Howe will be pleased the way it's gone. It's made it more comfortable that Birmingham haven't been able to get any momentum in the game, but here we go.
Peacock Farrell launches it long towards the penalty area. It's headed down and away. Target tries to get there, but Bielik wins it. Laird takes over, gets into the area. He tries to get the cross in. He goes down under pressure. Referee shakes away any protests for a penalty. Comes back out to the centre circle. Cochrane fires it aimlessly into the 18-yard box. Pope will pick it out of the sky, pat it down and waste some precious seconds. Those seconds are over, and Newcastle United just about emerge and shrug off the League One powerhouses Birmingham City to earn a place in round 5 of the FA Cup. There's an applause from all four sides of the ground, because that was a belting 100 minutes of football. It does mean that Newcastle have a shot at a cup double, but there is a heck of a long way to go in both competitions yet. Birmingham have given a brilliant account of themselves. They will be fully focused on reaching Wembley by a different route and returning to the Championship, and it won't be long before they do it. They're a very good team, very well coached, and they gave Newcastle United one hell of a game. But it's finished at St Andrews. Birmingham City 2, Newcastle United 3.